A special edition of World News Tonight from California. The emergency unfolding here in Los Angeles County. 24 hours into this, you can feel the heat, the smoke, and you certainly can see the flames over my shoulder here. Home after home continuing to burn to the ground. Entire neighborhoods lost, evacuations. The scope of the loss here, unimaginable. Tonight, the apocalyptic scene here on the ground in Southern California. The fires destroying everything in their path. And there is breaking news as we come on the air in the West. We have now learned tonight of a sixth fire, this time in the Hollywood Hills, called the Sunset Fire. What we're learning so far. Tonight, 6 wildfires now burning through Los Angeles, destroying more than 25,000 acres, propelled by wind gusts topping 100.
Nice. That's an interesting pattern to notice. Short answer, yes, people have noticed and studied repeat anniversary-like clustering of events before, but there are many possible explanations, some real, some cognitive. I can help you evaluate whether what you've found is likely a real statistical pattern or just coincidence. Below, I'll explain likely causes, how to test it properly, and give a practical analysis plan, including reproducible code you can run or ask me to run if you share the data. Number 1, possible real causes, mechanisms, true periodicity. Some processes are seasonal or cyclical, e.g. fiscal cycles, electoral legislative schedules, seasonal weather, anniversaries. Anniversaries, commemorations. People intentionally act on dates, memorials, reprisals, publicity stunts. Reporting artifacts, media, record-keeping often has periodic rhythms, end-of-month reports, quarterly summaries. Correlated actors, the same people or groups coordinating actions on anniversaries. Calendar effects, day of week, month boundaries, lunar cycles, holiday windows. Random clustering selection bias, with many names dates, some patterns will appear by chance, law of large numbers. Number 2, psychological cognitive causes, why it feels real. Apophenia, pattern seeking. Humans spot patterns in noise. Confirmation bias, you notice repeats and ignore non-repeats. Look elsewhere effect, multiple testing. If you look for many possible patterns, some will look significant purely by chance. Number 3, how to test it, practical statistical approach. Data you should collect, minimum. Event date, YYYMMDD. Event labels type or person name, any grouping, location, source, whether duplicated or independent events. Basic analysis steps. 1, describe the data, counts per day, per week, per month. Visualize, timeline, heat map calendar. 2, check for simple calendar effects, day of week, month, holiday proximity. 3, autocorrelation lag analysis. Compute daily, weekly autocorrelation to see spikes at 6 months or 1-year lags. 4, spectral analysis. Fourier or Lom-Scargel periodogram works with uneven dates to find dominant periodicities, e.g. 6-month equal frequency 2 year, 1 year equals 1 year. 5, circular statistics. Convert dates to angles on a 1-year circle and test for non-uniformity, Rayleigh or Kuiper test. 6, permutation bootstrap tests. Shuffle event dates, preserving number of events per name if needed, to estimate how often patterns as strong as observed arise by chance. Gives a p-value that accounts for data properties. 7, correct for multiple tests. If you looked across many names events, adjust p-values, FDR or Bonferroni. 8, examine same actor repeats. Are repeats driven by the same names actors? If so, treat them separately. They're not independent observations. Number 4, quick heuristics for plausibility. If the pattern is driven by a few individuals acting repeatedly on anniversaries, plausible, social, behavioral cause. If many unrelated events across different actors show the same exact lag, suspicious, check reporting cycles or seasonality. If the pattern disappears after controlling for holidays, weekdays, and month boundaries, likely an artifact. If permutation tests show a very low probability of the observed pattern, evidence it's not just noise. Yes, Donald Trump gave a fairly fiery press conference on January 7, 2025, at his resort in Mar-a-Lago. Reuters, some of the standout remarks. He said of hostages held by Hamas, all hell will break out. If they're not back by the time I get into office, all hell will break out in the Middle East. It will not be good for Hamas, and it will not be good, frankly, for anyone. Reuters. He refused to rule out military or economic coercion to gain control of the Panama Canal and Greenland, saying, no, I can't assure you on either of those two, but I can say we need them for economic security. PBS. He proposed renaming the Gulf of Mexico to the Gulf of America, saying, what a beautiful name, and it's appropriate. Reuters. He criticized Canada, saying the U.S. basically protects Canada. We're spending hundreds of billions a year. We lose in trade deficits. Reuters. So yes, he made several strong, bold, fiery comments that day. If you like, I can pull up the full transcript of the press conference and highlight all the most controversial comments so you can review them in context. Do you want me to do that? TheGuardian.com. Yes, on January 8, 2025, significant wildfire incidents occurred in Southern California. Here are key details. Image hashtag. What happened? Two major fires, the Palisades Fire in the Pacific Palisades, Los Angeles area, and the Eaton Fire near Altadena, Pasadena, were both active and spreading significantly on January 8. The lookout. The Eaton Fire had, by that morning, grown extremely rapidly under strong wind conditions and had already resulted in evacuations and damage. Cal Fire. The Palisades Fire was also threatening multiple communities and infrastructure, driven by extreme fire behavior and high winds. The conditions: strong Santa Ana winds, very dry fuels, and low humidity, all contributing to rapid fire spread. The lookout. The impact: at least 5 people were reported killed as of the January 8th update in the Los Angeles region. The Guardian. Hundreds to thousands of structures were damaged or destroyed, and tens of thousands of people were under evacuation orders. AP News. Schools were closed in affected districts, e.g., the morning update for January 8th noted closures of schools in the Pasadena area. Cal Fire. Location and scope. The Palisades Fire began January 7th in the Pacific Palisades area, but advanced into January 8th. The lookout. The Eaton Fire also began January 7th in the Altadena, Pasadena region, and by January 8th had grown significantly. Wikipedia. If you like, I can check whether there were any other fires, besides these two, on January 8th, 2025 elsewhere in the U.S., and pull up a full list of fire incidents on that date globally. Would you like that? AP News? Here are a couple of significant news items about 6 months after January 7th, 2025, around early July, that stand out. Elon Musk announced the formation of a new political party, the America Party, positioning it as a rival to Donald Trump's Republicans. The Guardian. The Central Texas floods in early July 2025 caused major devastation, hundreds of fatalities, with many still missing, especially from a girls' summer camp along the Guadalupe River. Wikipedia. On July 7, 2025, the U.S. was preparing for a meeting between Trump and Benjamin Netanyahu, Prime Minister of Israel, at the White House as part of efforts to advance a ceasefire in Gaza and secure hostages. Reuters. If you like, I can pull together 5 to 10 of the top global news events from exactly July 7, 2025, or that week, with full context. Yes, there were a few significant events on June 7, 2025. Here are 2 of the more prominent ones. #1. Protests and National Guard deployment in Los Angeles. Image in the U.S., tensions around immigration enforcement escalated significantly. According to multiple sources, federal immigration agencies carried out large-scale raids in Los Angeles around June 6-7, 2025. Wikipedia. In response, the U.S. National Guard was ordered to deploy to the Los Angeles area on June 7th to assist with managing protests and civil disturbances. Wikipedia. The protests involved clashes between demonstrators and federal law enforcement/immigration officers amid widespread uncertainty in affected immigrant communities. Wikipedia. This suggests June 7 was a pivot date in that specific chain of events. 2. Other noteworthy items. Eid al-Adha, also known as Bakrid, was observed on June 7, 2025 in many places globally. The Times of India. In global conflict zones, for example in the Gaza Strip, there were Israeli airstrikes and the recovery of a foreign national's body on that date. Wikipedia. If you like, I can pull a full list of major news items from June 7, 2025. Let's calculate carefully, step by step. Start date, June 7, 2025. 6 months later means adding 6 calendar months. Counting month by month, plus 1 month, July 7, 2025, plus 2 months, August 7, 2025, plus 3 months, September 7, 2025, plus 4 months, October 7, 2025, plus 5 months, November 7, 2025, plus 6 months, December 7, 2025. So, exactly 6 months after June 7, 2025 is December 7, 2025. Yes, there are a few notable observances and events happening on National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, Sunday, December 7th, 2025. In the U.S., it's the 84th annual Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, marking the attack on Pearl Harbor on December 7th, 1941. National Park Service. It's also observed globally as International Civil Aviation Day. Days of the year. There are also lighter-themed observances. National Cotton Candy Day and National Slime Day are marked. Days of the year additionally, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, November 5 to 7, ends just a day earlier, so December 7th is within that time frame of a major global motorsport event. Road trips. The Doha Forum 2025 is scheduled December 6 to 7, which adds a geopolitical event of interest. Control risks. If you like, I can check scheduled major political or corporate announcements specifically on December 7, 2025, not just observances, to see if anything more significant is planned. I couldn't find any major public, corporate, or government announcements specifically tied to National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day / December 7th, 2025 that stands out as unique beyond the scheduled observances. Here are a couple of noteworthy events planned for that date. The Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints, LDS Church, will hold its 2025 Christmas devotional broadcast on Sunday, December 7th, 2025 at 6 p.m. MST. Newsroom.churchofjesuschrist.org. The day itself has multiple observances. International Civil Aviation Day, National Pearl Harbor Remembrance Day, USA, and other cultural holidays. There is a day for that. If you like, I can dig into newswires and regulatory filings scheduled for December 7, 2025 to check for any lesser-known announcements, SEC filings, company earnings, major deals, and report what I find. I couldn't find any major, widely publicized global event or announcement scheduled specifically for Victory over Genocide Day, Constitution Day, Ghana, on January 7th, 2026, beyond the usual observances. Any day guide, if you like, I can check deeper, company filings, political calendars, regional events, to see whether something significant is planned for January 7th, 2026.